Hello and welcome. You're watching The Money Show and I'm Kavita Thapliyal and this is a very special edition of World Investor Week. Yes, you heard that right. World Investor Week 2025 is a global campaign being celebrated under the aegis of International Organization of Securities Commission and SEBI from 6th to 12th October to raise awareness about the importance of investor education, investor protection. ET Now has always looked out for the investor and keeping in line with the channel's ethos, we will be creating special programming for World Investor Week from 6th to 11th October. So all you have to do is just tune into the Money Show at 5 p.m. every day on ET Now, and you will be hearing from our experts actionable insights on how investors can better manage their personal finance portfolio. And we will be bringing this special programming to you with our banking partner, State Bank of India. So let's begin. And today the focus is on spending. Over the last few years, India's credit landscape has undergone a dramatic transformation. Personal loans, small ticket borrowings, and buy now pay later schemes have become a part of daily life. Whether it's a vacation, a new phone, or even investments in the stock market, borrowing has never been easier. But this ease of access comes with a warning sign. Now, according to recent RBI data, unsecured personal loans have grown over 25% year on year, with credit card outstanding loans touching an all-time high of nearly 2.5 lakh crores. What's even more worrying is that a significant chunk of this credit is being used for consumption or even market speculation rather than asset creation. Regulators, including the RBI and SEBI, have flagged growing concerns around this loan-fueled financial behavior. The central bank has already tightened risk weights on unsecured lending, urging banks and NBFCs to be more cautious. Credit bureaus also show a changing pattern in borrower behavior. The number of borrowers holding multiple active personal loans simultaneously has increased by nearly 20% in the last 2 years, and delinquencies in small ticket loans below 50,000 have also inched up. Experts warn that while easy credit might seem like financial freedom, it can quickly become a trap, impacting not just your credit score but also your ability to access bigger loans in the future, like for a home or business. So today, we decode what this surge in personal loans means for your financial health. How can you identify the early signs of over leverage, and what's the right way to manage your credit behavior before it turns into a long-term liability? To help us unpack this, we have with us Aparna Ramchandra, founder of Rectify Credit, who helps individuals rebuild their credit health; Sugandha Saxena, who brings deep insights on financial discipline and behavior finance; and Arnab Pandya, financial educator, founder of Money Edu School, who will break down how this borrowing trend could reshape India's investment mindset. Hello and welcome all three of you. And Aparna, let me begin with you. So over the past few years, Aparna, the trend that we are looking at, personal loans and credit cards have almost become lifestyle tools. So from your experience, what are the most common mistakes people make when managing multiple loans?
Kavita, this is a burning question, a very, very critical scenario now. Typically, even during pandemic, I'm talking about 2020, 21, the personal loans were typically 1 lakh, above, and they were for some personal emergencies or loss of job, those kind where is what led people to borrow through personal loans. But in the last 9 months, especially, I am seeing a lot of smaller ticket personal loans which are taken from these apps. When you discuss with the client, the answer is this small ticket loan, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, has been taken to pay the EMI of the bigger loan. And now that bigger loan is, why did you take this big loan? No, we invested in stocks and futures and options. We invested in stock market, and initially we got good returns. We were promised XYZ, and then everything went for a big toss. So this is one big reason. Second big reason I am seeing, I don't know why. I fail to understand, maybe sitting in a metro, but marriage is again a huge reason why people get into lot of these loans, and then one loan to repay another loan, and it is just a vicious cycle. And these loans are anywhere between 24 to 60% rate of interest. So the ability to repay, close this loan is next to to zero. So we are in a really bad shape currently, Kavita.
Right, let's deep dive into here. And Sugandha, see, BNPL and small ticket loans often appear harmless. Okay, a few thousand rupees here and there. But why does this micro credit comfort? It's become a bigger problem over time, and it is likely to disturb your entire financial process or savings or investments. Your financial behavior has actually gone for a toss for a lot of people, as per reports.
Yeah. See, overall, I think we should recognize that credit is a very important instrument, right? It really powers individuals and families to buy things, do things, and manage their cash flows on a regular basis. So I think in general, credit is very important, and that is why people make use of them. The point is, the smaller loans that people take is again what Aparna said, right? You don't realize your ability to take loan is really less, and that is why perhaps one particular loan app has given you only 5,000 and not 50,000. But then some individuals try to beat the system, taking multiple loans, and taking one loan of 50,000 versus 10 loan of 50,000 is actually very difficult, because then you have multiple EMIs, multiple processing fee, multiple interest rate and cycle, and there you falter. So I guess very reckless and aggressive credit behavior, which you feel that money will come and I would be able to pay, is something people don't realize, and they end up taking too many loans. Sometimes I would also think that there are personal circumstances. A lot of time people do realize, but if I have a situation where my child is in the hospital and I have to make this payment and I don't have, credit becomes not an option for me, right? While sitting in a lot of privileged position, we can say that we need people have to be more responsible, but sometimes circumstances can be very pressing. So that also we must recognize, and therefore see this as a more holistic position. Obviously, the infrastructure which we have in our country, the credit bureau, it's really powerful. We have seen RBI making it from monthly to fortnightly, and now there is a proposal to make it weekly, which will help really lenders to ensure that people do not take a lot of multiple loans at the same times, and therefore from a lender's perspective, we can avoid that behavior. But as Aparna said, consumer is really have to take the responsibility and also ensure that they do not really take such loans without thinking that, okay, well, how will I pay this loan and at what time? So all these have become very important.
All right, that's absolutely right. But then we really have to help people understand this particular aspect and also the implementation of it. So, Arnav, how can retail investors strike a balance between leveraging opportunities and maintaining financial prudence? Practical steps.
So, one of the main things that people need to do is to be realistic, because every person who is looking at either investing or taking this loan, I mean, they always think on the optimistic side. For example, there are people who take loans not because they have adequate funds, but because they believe that future income will be used to repay these loans. Now, either the future income doesn't come in as expected, or there is no buffer available, whereby if there is even a slight disruption in income, the entire loan repayment was out of uh, schedule. The other thing which also is there is that people, when they are taking a loan, they only try and look at what uh, cash flows they are managing right now. So there is no planning involved in the fact that whenever you look at your finances, you have to look at it from a holistic perspective. It's not just the fact that you need to use your income to keep paying these loans. There is some element of investment also involved. There is an element of building an emergency fund which can be used to meet various emergency expenses, which could be medical emergencies or any other thing where you lose your income. So all these aspects are not given attention, and that is the root cause where all these problems start. Because the moment anything goes out of plan, because sometimes I see people taking loans for, say, a foreign travel, for weddings, and in all these expenses, in most cases, they do not even stick to budget. So even your loan which you have taken is unable to repay the expenses which you are finally incurring. So all this puts you into a loop, and that is very dangerous. So planning and looking at your finances very clearly is the first step which everyone needs to take before taking the loan, not after taking the loan.
Want to understand from you, Aparna, are people aware of how every single swipe, every EMI delay, or even multiple loan applications can affect their credit profile?
Absolutely. And, last few months, people believed that, when you take these smaller loans, because this data is not submitted to the bureau, they can get away with things. But today, lenders have an alternative way to check how you have borrowed on these applications. So typically in an unsecured loan, today a bank also has something called as an app score. So they figure out how many inquiries you have done, where all have you gone shopping, how many loans you have taken, and where are you currently. So please through your channel, through this initiative, the investor awareness, what I really want to reach out to people is every single behavior of yours is being monitored, it is being mapped. So you can't get away with whatever you want to do in the official ecosystem. Number one. Number two, today it may be very easy to get that 10,000 rupee loans by the click of whatever on your mobile phone. Is fair enough. And it may be a pressing emergency, that is also fair enough. But if it is not belonging to the former thing, then please remember that this is a commitment. You have to make sure that you continue to service this till this gets over, and none of them allow you to do prepayments. So even if you do a prepayment, you end up paying a hefty penalty on this. So, either ways you are jammed. If you default, you are jammed. If you prepay, you are jammed. So the only way for you is to maintain that balance and go continue till whatever commitment you've given and service that loan. And this is all going to come back to impact your credit behavior. Today, you may have taken a 10,000 rupee loan to go buy something fancy, fair enough. But then we are not getting on a moral high or a judgmental talk here. We are not judging you for that, but please remember, all of this is going to come back to haunt you if you're not going to be responsible. Tomorrow there may be, like you initially said, you may be looking for a home loan, and that might go for a toss because you've messed up with these app based loans. Today lot of job employers are checking your credit score. Today tomorrow, if you need something like a personal loan, a bigger ticket personal loan, because there's a bigger emergency, you might not get it, and your credit card may reduce your limit based on your credit behavior. So even that credit card you can't swipe even if you have a credit card. So
Right.
please remember, all of this is going to impact your credit profile and your ability to raise credit. So don't be under this false impression that किसी को पता नहीं चलेगा 5-6 हजार है मैं फट से ले लूंगा and immediately pay कर दूंगा. Something were to go wrong, and today we are all living in very very uncertain terms. Job जा रहा है, किसी का कुछ हो रहा है, there is inflation, so you don't know. So make sure that you do your personal math right till that tenure of the loan that you are taking. Only if you are confident, take that loan. Otherwise, please don't take these expensive loans if you can avoid it.
All
Kavita.
right, major side effects, Aparna, that you counted on. But then, Sugandha, from you also, I want to understand long-term cultural and financial implications of that, because what we are looking at right now is India slowly shifting from a savers to a borrower mindset. Sugandha.
Which I think is a positive development, right? As a country, if we have to really become a bigger economy and a developed one, I think credit has been a part of this thing. So there's no second thought about it. I think what we are talking about is a responsible credit. So people take credit. I think we are all for credit. I think it's very, very powerful for small businesses, for individuals. And this is where the consumption will grow, the economy will grow. So I think we should never take credit as a negative. I think it is how credit is taken and what responsible behavior is there from a consumer side and also from the lender side, that you do not push kind of credit which is unsustainable. The other thing which I want to use this platform to talk about is there is a lot of informal fraud related apps which are available in the market. So what also happens that a lot of consumers which do not get credit from apps which are by NBFCs or banks, they may end up taking loans from these illegal apps, which again is a very very big trap because they come at a very high cost. There are also very bad recovery practices and so on, and you don't even realize that this is what is happening. So again, it's important that we as a consumer engage with only regulated financial services, and RBI now has a list available on their website which provides list of all the apps which are deployed by regulated entities,
Only
and
authorized and
consumers should
authenticated.
only make use of
Absolutely.
it.
One needs to check the authenticity. All right, one last question. Arnav, looking ahead, what kind of regulatory tightening or credit discipline do you expect in next year or so? Already a lot is being done, but what more can be done?
See, RBI on its part is already taking various steps which it can under the bank regulations to ensure
Sure.
that this kind of unsecured credit doesn't go out of bounds. The other thing which and needs special attention is this fact, this focus on illegal apps and unregulated entities who are doing this kind of lending. And that is where the real challenge lies, because it's very easy to regulate entities which are already under your jurisdiction. But getting out in this entire ecosystem where there are entities who are not registered at all and they are still doing these kind of activities, bringing them under the net is often very difficult, because something of this kind of entity comes under your notice only after the problem has occurred. So this is going to be the real challenge, regulating this vast ecosystem where one does not have control over the various players involved. And that is the real challenge which RBI will face. And I think the market regulator is also going to look at this aspect very, very closely and monitor it and take some steps in this direction.
Sure. So at the end of the day, credit is not the enemy, our relationship with it is. Easy access to loans, BNPL and instant approvals can feel empowering in the moment, but the real power lies in using credit responsibly. Remember, your credit score is not just a number, it's your financial reputation. It affects your ability to buy a home, get business funding, or even negotiate better interest rates in the future. So before you swipe that card or take another personal loan, pause and ask, is it a need or just a want? A balanced financial life is about how much you can borrow. It's about how wisely you can manage what you already have. So a big thank you to our guests, Aparna, Sugandha and Arnav, for sharing their insights and helping us understand the importance of responsible borrowing and good credit behavior. Thank you so much. And for the viewers, we hope today's discussion helps you rethink how you use credit, not as a shortcut to lifestyle, but as a tool for long-term stability. Till next time, stay aware, stay financially fit, and remember, credit done right is confidence, credit done wrong is a chain. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.
Today on World Sight Day, we are reminded that 2.2 billion people worldwide live with